On October 5th, 2013, at Oakland Coliseum in Oakland, California, the Oakland Athletics were in the playoffs against the Detroit Tigers. It was game 2 of the ALDS, and October meant Sundays were for baseball. I'm sorry, I completely messed that up. It was game 2 of ALDS, and that meant that baseball was going on, not anything out of the ordinary, playoffs, everything like that. So Sundays though, not for football. We all know that. We all understand that that's what it's for. But so this was October 5th. On October 6th, the Oakland Raiders, who also play in Oakland at Oakland Coliseum, were scheduled to play a game. This was going to be against, I believe it was the San Diego Chargers. This meant that the time when both teams share the stadium, the time had to be condensed to about 15 hours to convert from baseball to football. The two teams, like I've been saying, do share a stadium, so this conversion isn't out of the ordinary. They usually do it in about 18 to 20 hours. So this is where something like this, where engineering has to play a big factor in changing a stadium in a shorter amount of time to get to a sport, from one sport to another sport. So today, like I've been saying, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the cost and how the stadium is configured and stuff like that. I'm also going to tell you about how the baseball field is cleared, and I'm going to inform you about how the football field and some final touches are put into place. To start, we're going to start with the cost of each conversion, as well as other general information about the stadium. Every year in September, baseball and football cross paths, as everyone usually knows. October is when it really heats up, and football is kind of taking over, and baseball is kind of put on the back burner, even though it's kind of the most exciting time in baseball. Because of that, each year Oakland, sharing the stadium, has to pay $250,000 to convert the stadium from baseball to football and from football back to baseball. Because of this, the Oakland Raiders and the Oakland Athletics try and schedule in a favorable amount so that they don't have to do this as much, because no team wants to put $250,000 every weekend to change the stadium. It's just a cost that they can put elsewhere into advertisements and also into player contracts. So they don't want to do that. Like I said earlier, the time it takes to convert the stadium usually is about 18 to 20 hours, and that was from the source of Dan Haynes. He's a writer for NFL.com, and he was writing about the time in 2013 when this conversion had to take place in 15 hours, which is just a crazy amount. So because of the fact that the planning has to be so well to get this just done in 18 to 20 hours, on this day in October, they had to do this in 15 hours, so that planning had to be extremely papered out, everything, people had to be in place, people were there hours before even watching the game, but getting ready to go in and to start changing the field. With time being so short, all the details being pinned out, the first step to clearing the baseball field is to get the grounds crew out there, and actually, instead of tearing down the field, they're going to build the field back up. With so much activity on the field for 9 innings, and even on that day, that game was about 4 hours long. So with that being done, that field's destroyed, and it's going to get even more destroyed with football playing on it. So they want to build it up and kind of fix patches in the grass and make sure, because the dirt on the infield isn't removed, they have to clean that and put more dirt, clay, and stuff like that, and make sure it's all level so that it's ready for football. While this is going on, engineers are out in left and right field taking down the foul pole. It's an extremely dangerous idea because the foul poles weigh a lot. I'm not sure exactly how much they would, but they do weigh a lot, so it takes professional engineers to take them down and put them in storage. Other small tasks that go around the stadium is they have banners in the upper deck, and they have to actually take those down because they're going to be replaced later with other advertisements and stuff like that, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. The next biggest stage of getting the baseball field cleared completely is actually removing the pitching mounds. It's something that takes a lot of time and takes a lot of precision work. The Clay Wood, who's the head groundskeeper for the Athletics and for the Raiders and overall for the stadium, he told us in a 2012 interview with Made Man on YouTube that the 3 mounds individually weigh 24,000 pounds. So with that, they have to use this behemoth of a trailer. It's custom built, only meant for the Athletics, so that they can remove the mounds. The 3 mounds that we're talking about are the main pitching mound that's used for play, and then we have 2 exterior bullpen mounds that are on the field of play that need to be removed. So with that, they have to raise the mounds up and take them. And that might sound weird that they have to completely take mound in one piece and remove it. So because of that, they have to do all this, make it done, and then convert it and move them out of the way. Keeping them in one piece because they don't want to have to continuously build them and take them away. To kind of sum everything up, we're going to go really quickly through some of the football field stuff. Some things they have to do is they have to bring in a giant crane to kind of remove the outfield fence and put in bleachers because there's different viewing angles for baseball and football. So you have to convert them differently and move them around in different ways. Other things that they have to do is they have to fill in the holes that the mound's left, so they have to put grass on them so that they can play on top of it, because you don't want your star running back to roll his ankle in a hole that was left from the mound. So they fill those in and put other areas that need more grass. Some of the last things they do is they put up the goalposts, another thing that the engineering is involved in, and also that the cranes are involved in. So they raise the 2 goalposts up, bolt them into the ground, and make sure they're ready for play. And the very last thing they have to do is paint the field. And that can take up to 24,000 gallons of paint just to get done. It's a crazy amount of paint to paint one NFL field, and they also have to paint some of the baseball field just to make the appearance look good. So today we went over some of the stuff some stadium facts involving the Oakland Athletics and the Raiders. We also went over how the baseball field is cleared, and then we talked about how the football field is put in place and ready for an NFL game. Something I want people to take away from this is that this doesn't happen anymore. Stadium experiences are something that we rarely get, something like this. So the people on that day from October 5th to October 6th were some of the luckiest in the world to see 2 events at the same stadium that were different, and it's something that we don't see anymore, and we're not going to see for a long time. So thank you for joining me.